Lykaon Opaline looked exhausted when we got home. I let Kale in and Darian go home so Opaline could shift comfortably once we were inside. The pack seemed to do well with her, except staring all too intently at the size of her, mistaking her for a pup. I didn't let them continue those thoughts and growled at them to behave, telling them who it was. Their expressions instantly changed to regret and guilt, then to shock. After dismissing Kale and Darian, I walked inside my house and went up to the room, finding the bathroom shut and the shower on. Content, I go to the closet and shift, putting on a pair of pants. I walk back down and into the kitchen, grabbing a small snack for Opal and myself. On the way there, I hear a pain-filled cry from upstairs. Pausing, I listen for it again, but it doesn't come. Thinking I might have imagined it because I was tired, I continued. When I got back in the room, Opaline still wasn't out of the bathroom yet. Opaline doesn't take long showers and definitely doesn't do makeup and other stuff women like to do. Setting the tray on the bed, I walk over and put my ear to the door. The water is still running, and there's something that sounds like tape or plastic. Furrowing my brows, I knocked. "I'm almost finished. I'm sorry," came her reply. I was about to respond but remember she can't hear me. It'll give 5 more minutes before I start to worry. My heart is racing from anxiety and I can't stand it any longer. It's been 30 minutes since I first checked on her and she's not out yet. I go over and start picking the lock, desperate to see Opaline and figure out what is wrong. I know she hides, but this must be something different because not only is she hiding from the outside world, but she's hiding from me. She's never really hid from me. I hear a click and slam the door open. There's steam everywhere and I can't see anything. From the shower, I hear a shift in movement and carefully make my way over. I find the handle and open it up, squinting to see what is inside. All I see is red and I wonder if it's because my eyes hurt too much or if I'm really angry. Though I don't think it's the latter. Bending down, I feel the granite ground and something sticky meets my skin. I bring my hand to my face and suddenly smell it. It's overwhelming and making my nose hurt blood. Opaline, making my way further inside. Not caring if I get blood all over, I try to find her. My shower is large, so she could be anywhere. I finally reach the opposite wall and met skin. The steam starts to clear away and I see Opaline limp in the corner. One hand holding the other arm that has the bat hand which is now opened and bones stick out like needles. Kaylin. My hands shake and I don't know where to start to even help her. What's wrong? It's Opaline. I wasn't sure if I could even say it. I already know she lost a lot of blood and somehow her hand is even worse than before. I just told True NT. We'll be there in a minute. Kaylin informs through the link. Grabbing a towel, I wrap it around her hand, not bothering with her nectances, then lift her into my arms and down to the dining room table where I throw everything off and lay her down. Come on, Opal, I whisper desperately. Stay with me. You're going to be okay. The front door opens and a few pairs of feet come running and led by Kaylin. The moment he sets foot in the dining room, he stops dead in his tracks. True NT was quick on his feet and rushed forward, unwrapping the towel. What happened? He asked urgently. I don't know. She took a long time in the shower and after so long, I found her limp and blood flowing in the drain. Her hand, we need to take her to the ER. She needs blood and treatment that I can't give her here. Do you have more towels? I nod and run out, grabbing a few as well as a sheet to cover her with. I wince when I notice it's white. Kaylin grabs a towel and helps the doctor wrap Opaline's hand while I carefully wrap the sheet around her body. Alpha, I'm not sure if you should come. I glare at True NT. I'm coming. I'm going to be doing some stuff that might set you off, he warns, not flinching at my harshness. Let's go. I growl and wrap my arms around my mate, making sure to keep her injured hand on top while I run out the door. Kaylin is right behind me, there if I need anything, thankfully, and to help keep me in control. Send J and Ian to clean the shower and table. I can't stand the sight of my mate's blood everywhere. I am kept in the waiting room. Why? I nearly tore Rue NTS and some nurses' heads off for even suggesting doing a bone transplant. I think that's what they called it. Kaelin had to drag me out of there along with Kurt and Michael. I still haven't changed, haven't slept, haven't eaten much, and it's dawn. I can't think straight. I can't even walk straight anymore to go home. Something inside me is breaking at the thought of Opaline's life being threatened by the smallest thing like blood loss. I don't think I've breathed properly since walking home from the forest. Dawn. And they still haven't come out to tell me how it's going. Dawn. And I still have the image of her blood and the limp body in the shower in my mind. Dawn. And I can't get my heart to slow down. What the fuck is going on? It's about 10 in the morning when I see a nurse walk towards me, looking slightly pale and exhausted. Alpha. I stand and run up to her, grabbing her shoulders and shaking her. What is happening? I growl. Fear lights her eyes until her exhaustion takes over. The doctor will be out in a few minutes to explain what went on. The good news is your maid is stable and is in recovery with several other nurses as well as 2 of your men watching over her. Is there any bad news I should be aware of? I ask warily. She rubs her eyes and grabs a cup of water, drinking deeply. The doctor didn't say. He just wanted me to inform you that they are finished and just better. If you'll excuse me. Max Spidey. My fated mate. White splashed around me and my wind spun with the beat of the heavy techno music the DJ was playing. I plead as she turns away. When she looks at me, I whisper, "Can I see her now?" The nurse smiles, almost crying with relief. I do. We go through several doors before she stops in front of a curtain that is drawn to protect privacy. Chesson here. I can have the others step out if you wish. I nod and she does. It's when every last person is out that I go in and look at the bed. Chess still pale like snow. Her raven hair a stark contrast against her smooth skin. They've cleaned her up. Not one speck of blood could be seen. Both her hands are under the thin blanket that's laid upon her. And I see an ivy running down and into one of them, sitting beside her on the bed. I lift the blanket and move it a little to see her hand. Oh, Opaline. I gasp, seeing the large. From under her hospital gown, I see white bandages. I carefully take a look and see spots of bandages along her ribs and one on her collarbone. I brush a thumb over her cheek, hoping it will take away some of the pain that I know she's in, hoping to comfort her in some way. A minute later, and it would have been too late, says True NT from the curtain. I glance at him, but continue to gaze at my mate. I listen though. I'm not sure how to tell you this, Alpha, but she is not a healthy wolf. It was very difficult to do what she needed because of how small and fragile she is. It didn't help either that the blood loss was insurmountable as well. It took so long because things didn't go so well at first. She was on death's bed when we put her on oxygen and new blood. She didn't even start responding properly until I finally gave her a push around this morning, which was after your little outburst. What about her hand? Going to be in that shape for a while. He says softly. Not only did the bones rip through skin, but every other muscle, tendon, and a few veins. I wouldn't be surprised if she felt nothing in that hand for the rest of her life. Will she be able to shift anymore? He didn't answer right away and I swallowed the lump in my throat. I'm not sure. That is yet to be determined. Bowing my head, I try to keep my emotions in check until he leaves. But he stays and they start trickling down my face. If you want good news to see the silver lining, I want my mate to fucking wake up and tell me she's all right. I growl. He hesitates a moment then says, there is a possibility, when she wakes, that she'll be scared if not terrified of what's going on around her. What are you talking about? We took a look at her brain as well as her ears while we were in there, but did nothing to disturb them. I promise. But a closer inspection of her eardrums, it seems they've healed much faster than I would thought. They are fully healed and as good as new. My head snaps up to look at him, hope and shock in my eyes. I thought they only healed a little when we saw you yesterday. So did I. The pictures don't lie. Opaline, I feel busy like I spun around and around on one foot for 5 minutes. I would have vomit. I also feel exhausted, physically and mentally. Lykaon. I desperately call out. Lykaon. Why isn't he helping me? I thought he could hear me through the link. What did I do wrong? Pain. That's all I feel throughout my body is unadulterated pain. It's like I've been whipped or cut into multiple times and it hurts to even breathe. I need relief. I need the pain to go away. I just need. I wake up from the longest, dreamless sleep I've ever had. It's the worst sleep I've had because I don't feel at all rested and I wanted to rest. Pain. 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 Will it ever end? Something large is lying on my stomach and I wonder if it's a softball or something. I can't feel my arm or my hand and my ribs feel like they're piercing my lungs. I can't breathe. The doctor said she should be waking up any time now, said a voice not too far from the end of my bed. Are you going to keep her here or take her home? Said another voice. A sigh. I want to take her home. But she'll be able to heal here without me having to worry too much. The nurses will see to it that she's comfortable and gets all her needs sorted out. I won't be able to watch her and I will not allow the men to help her. She's going to have to stay here. My brain is fuzzy. Who are these men? I recognize them. But why do I feel so confused? More so, why wouldn't I stay in the hospital to heal? That is what happened after the accident years ago. I was in the hospital for months and hated it. I still hate hospitals with a passion. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm in too much pain to go anywhere. I want someone I know. Someone I recognize here. I feel like I might panic if I'm left alone here with people in white and the white walls and the scent of cleanliness. Lykaon. Someone groans and I hear a thump like they fell to their knees. Hey, are you okay? I hear a voice ask in a panic. I was about to say no when the other man said, Shit. My head. What happened? She just screamed my name. Into my head. Fuck. If I was asleep, his cursing would have woken me up. But since I'm not asleep, I listen to it and find it amusing. Moving my head to one side, I feel a soft pillow brush my cheek. I'm pretty sure the men forgot about me. And I continue listening. What do you mean she just screamed your name? I don't know. But it fucking hurt. Has she said anything else? No, but I don't think I'd be able to hear her if she did. My head feels like it's about to explode. I try to laugh, but stop when the pain begins to feel too much. My eyes water and I want my mate. Lykaon. Fucking hell. The man groans. I can't move to even see if she's alright. Lykaon. Hey, steady there. Alpha. Are you going to be sick? I hear a groan in reply and move my head to the other side. Where is he? Why did he leave other men here to watch me? She must be awake. The groaning man got out. She hasn't used the link since BER to LF. Is everything all right? A feminine voice asks. Yes, just don't mind him. Alpha is just being a baby. A soft giggle. That's all right. I feel a hand on my forehead and then something moves across it, then behind my ear. Her temp is back to normal. There's a little clamp she puts on one of my fingers, then something squeezes my arm. The sound of beeping focuses and I realize it's the monitor keeping track of my heartbeat. And it sounds a little fast. What is going on? The female doesn't answer but continues to check my vitals. Her oxygen is good. Blood pressure is a little low. But that's to be expected. Why the fuck is her heart beating so fast? The alpha growls. Probably because she's coming into consciousness and has no idea where she's at. Considering she can't hear. I can't hear. I'm not supposed to be hearing anything. But I'd have just heard every single word without opening my eyes. I need to get out of here. I need to find Lykaon. I need answers. I hear the monitor's beeping get slightly faster and can't help but feel more panicked at the sound of it. No. No, I can't hear. I'm deaf. I lost my hearing 3 years ago. I have not been able to hear a sound for 3 long fucking years. Do something. Came a growl. Yes, do something. I think. I want to be in that dreamless sleep once more. I never knew how terrifying reality could be until now when it was playing a sick joke on me. Lykaon. I plead desperately in my head. Help me. Max Spidey. My fated mate. White splash to only a maroon spawn with the beat of the heavy techno music the DJ was playing. I heard the low, dangerous order. The female must have done what he said because then he replaced her and I could feel his hands on my face. Opaline. He hissed. I wanted to talk. I wanted to do anything but he wasn't here. Lykaon. Please. Hey, it's all right. I'm here, the male said softly. Opaline, come on. Baby, talk to me. I'm right here. I think I started crying because something was rolling down my cheeks. Suddenly, I didn't have the strength to move or say anything with mind or mouth. I heard my heart rate slowing down and my body loosening up. I heard people talking rapidly, but they were muffled into silence. Opaline, baby, it's me, Lykaon, your mate. That one voice pierced through my consciousness. You're safe. Opal, it's all right. Lips pressed against my forehead, warm and soft. Come on, baby, talk to me. I'm right here. But I didn't want to. I wanted him. More tears slipped down my face and warm hands wiped them away. Then, they cut the back of my head and bust me against a large, hard chest. I groaned at the slight pain in my ribs but didn't pull away. Not when it was so warm. Alpha, you're going to hurt her. The nurse hissed. Why the hell would I do that? He said evenly right by my ear. My heart jolted, taking a leap towards hope. My body relaxed against his, my heart going back to normal. I began to rub my cheek along his shoulder, feeling the familiar muscles there, but I still couldn't form words in my mouth. It was just too much. Good girl. Lykaon whispered softly into my ear. That's it. Just calm down. I'll help you get through this. You're safe. I promise. There was a knock on the door and I heard another female. Alpha, there are 3 wolves here to see you and Luna Opaline. They say they're her family. Tell them I'll be there in a minute. There was a bit of shuffling before she said. They said immediately. Alpha. Fuck. Tell them I'm coming. He roared. I didn't flinch or pull away. Instead pressed myself more into him. Sheezy Opal. He said softly to me. Do you want me to go talk to them? I heard the other male ask. No, Kaylin. I'd rather not get you killed by sending you in my place. I can't trust anyone else in this place to report back to me if she's panicking. I need you to stay here. If you leave, though, I'm not leaving right now to go satisfy a pissed Alpha. My mate needs me more than he does. And if he even thinks about tearing through this hospital to find me or her, he has no right to beg for my mercy. I felt his strength as he held me tight to his chest, and the fury he has towards anyone who would try to separate him from me right now. I knew he cared. Knew how terrified he must have been when I didn't wake. When he must have broken into the bathroom and found me lying in the shower, passed out. My heart rate started increasing again. Opal, hey, calm down. Lykaon whispered urgently, but it made me panic more. You're okay. Baby, you're safe. I won't leave you. His voice was barely audible at the end. Kissing the top of my head, he stroked my back gently. Just relax. Baby girl. Nothing is going to happen. I groaned, pressing my face into his chest, trying to ignore the pain. Lykaon shushed me softly, but the pain was becoming unbearable. My ex-buddy, my hated mate. Light splashed around me and my wound spun with the beat of the heavy techno music the DJ was playing. Damn it. Tears started streaming down my face and tried to move my body and get the pain to stop. But I couldn't move. Help me. I cried to my mate. I'm right here. Opaline. It hurts. Lykaon. My hand. It hurts. Lykaon slowly pulled me away from his chest to lay me down, then took my casted hand in both of his. Kaylin, can you find a nurse who can give her more painkillers? There was a pair of feet walking away, then a door closing. Lykaon said to me, try to relax. Opal, we're getting something to help. He wiped my tears away and kissed me softly, still holding my hand. I realize now that it was this that feels so large. How thick did they wrap my hand anyways? A moment later, the door opened and a new nurse said, Alpha, I'm going to need you to step away from our patient so I can do something. The bed shifted and I let out a half-whine, half-groan. A moment later, I felt Lykaon on my other side, putting a hand under my head. Shh, baby, I'm still here. Alpha, I'm not moving from here. He said flatly, you have plenty of room to do what needs to be done. So, There was a snort before she began. Lykaon didn't move the whole 10 minutes it took for the stern nurse to check my vitals and give me medicine. I could smell the disinfectant and the sweet scent of the painkiller, and I wanted to gag again. From nearby, Kaelin spoke. Lykaon, Michael is having a hard time keeping our guests happy. My mate sighed in annoyance before kissing my head. I'll be back as soon as I can. Kaelin is here to watch over you. If you need the nurse or something like that, he can get it for you. I won't be long. Baby. With that, he left. The nurse finally finished and left. The medicine must not only kill pain but put me to sleep. I just didn't want to sleep. I didn't want to fall into darkness I might never get out of again. Groaning, I lift my good hand to my face, shaking my head vigorously. Opaline, Kaelin said, coming closer. Hey, what are you doing? I groaned. Just calm down. Luna, the medicine won't hurt you. Fuck the pain. I can't take it. I screamed to anyone I'm linked to, which must have been a lot of people. Kaelin groaned and fell to his knees. I heard screaming outside my room in different crashes. Opal, you can't do that. Kaelin hissed. I pause my pain into stanger and try to calm down. What can't you take? He asked a moment later. I need him. Kaelin, I can't go back to sleep. Not without him. The nurse. I don't want to sleep. He moved around a little, seeming to be looking for something before returning to my side. Here, drink this. He held a cup to my lips and I let him tip it so ice. Cold water flowed down my throat in a relief. I took more sips. Bad Spidey, my fated mate. White splashed around me and my wounds spun with the beat of the heavy techno music the DJ was playing. It felt so good. Does your mouth feel better now? I nod slowly as he wipes some mist droplets off my chin. Good. Now relax. Fighting the medicine won't help you. And Lykaon will return shortly. He will know you're asleep and make sure you're comfortable. I nod once, feeling drowsy. I'm scared. Kaelin. I'm terrified. He didn't say anything, so I fell into another dreamless sleep. I wanted to shake Opaline's father and tell him how selfish he's being. He wants to see his daughter even though she hasn't requested so. Her mother and Jock seemed to come to terms that she was safe and being looked after. But the father, Alpha Aryn, I'm not sure if you just didn't hear me or you're being stupid. But Opaline isn't in any state to see any more people right now. She already panicked a few times to the point of her heart beating too fast. She doesn't need any more stress right now. You listen here. Boy, Alpha Aryn hissed. Opaline is my daughter. If you don't let me see her, it'll be war on your pack. Marok Spidey, my fated mate. Lights flashed around me and my room spun with the beat of the heavy techno music the DJ was playing. Father, I shook my head in disbelief. You'd ruin your daughter's chance at happiness over something as stupid as this. I realize you're her family and she may love you. But the rules in this pack are that no one is allowed to see the patient without their mate's permission. Unless, of course, they don't have one. Then they're allowed in. Because I'm Opaline's mate. I do not give you permission. And, since I'm the alpha of this pack, I will not let you endanger her or anyone else because you're trying to be stupid. When she is feeling like herself, I will ask her if she wants to see you. But now isn't the time. She just woke up not too long ago and is overwhelmed and petrified. I would think you'd want her to feel better before barging in on her privacy. Selin took her mate's arm and pulled him back, giving me a gentle smile. Please, make sure she heals. I am forever grateful you are her mate and not someone else. Selin, he's holding her captive. Marok Spidey, my fated mate. Lights flashed around me and my room spun with the beat of the heavy techno music the DJ was playing. He's giving her choices, a life, and letting her heal. He hasn't even given her the official title of Luna yet because he knew she wasn't ready. Alpha Aryn growled lowly, but my attention caught on to someone else. Someone I haven't seen in a long time. I said to Opaline's family, I have business to attend to. When my beta informs me that you have intruded, my men will be waiting. Don't try to do anything. Please. Excuse me now. I walked away to the woman standing just inside the hospital doors. She smiled when she saw me, gliding forward and giving me a tight embrace. Lykaon, I would have thought you'd be thriving now that you're Alpha, but it seems you're doing the complete opposite. Oh, Bree, I whispered into her hair. I was thriving until the other night. I haven't slept in so long, and I can't think about pack needs when my head is in mud. She called away, her green eyes concerned. What do you mean? She looked around. I would have also thought you'd have a mate by now. I do have a mate, I say, pulling her after me and down the hall. Goddess, Bree, she's a wonderful mate. I stopped near an office and looked inside, then pulled her in with me. Locking the door, I paced around trying to figure out how to tell her. Bree, I'm so lost. Is that why you're here at the hospital and telling Alpha Merle to back off? I nodded solemnly. Bree walked over and wrapped her arms around me again. What happened to her? Tell me everything. I do from the moment Opaline and I met up to now. I tell her how Opal tried to protect me and Nadine, almost losing her hand in the process. I tell her about Opal's past and why BRLF seemed to cause some of those memories to reappear. How Opaline was deaf for so long, but now she's able to hear. How True NT took so long in surgery with Opal. And I was a mess. I told her of everything good and bad when finally having Opal as my mate, and she listened carefully. When I finally finished, Bree had on a sad smile. Lykaon, it sounds like you've been through a lot more than I have. Dear Ann and I haven't had such troubles, but that doesn't mean we won't. So, tell me, did Opaline call your name when she woke up? I nod, smiling a little. So loud and through the link. It was the worst migraine I've ever had. Bree seemed awed by this. That's so adorable. Lykaon. I sit down in a chair and sigh. My friend gives me a warm smile. What does her wolf look like? I tense at this question. She's small. Tiny actually. I look into those green eyes and say, Aryn is going to try and kill her if he sees it. She's one of them. She gasps. I nod. Aryn needs to move on. Maybelle hasn't been alive for years. He's determined on catching and killing whoever killed her. He's going to immediately think it was Opaline. But she's too innocent for that. You're not going to invite him to the Luna ceremony, are you? I have two. He's an alpha. Any alpha is welcome. It's tradition. Bree shakes her head. Lykaon. He's not going to do it in public where people can see him. You know, he's going to get her alone somehow. That's what I'm afraid of. You might want to come here. Kaelin says in a hesitant voice. What's wrong? I'm not sure. But Opal isn't exactly coping. What do you mean? I can't explain it. Lykaon. I just need you here before something bad happens. I stand up and run out the door. Bree calling my name. Bounding corners and slamming doors. I make it to Opaline's room and walk in. Kaelin is at the opposite end of the room, trapped in a corner by Opaline who has grown claws but hasn't shifted yet. My friend looks terrified as she closes in on him, shaking somewhat. I lunge and wrap my arms around her body, making us crash to the floor. Get out. I yell at Kaelin. Make sure no one enters. Let me go. Opaline screams. She needs to be saved. Opaline, stop. I order, but she struggles even more. Getting on top of her, I flip her onto her back and pin her hands to her sides. She stares into my eyes with a hazed look, her eyes not really focused. Snap out of it. Tears welled up in her eyes. She's going to die, she hissed. I lean closer and kiss her lips. The girl is safe. You saved her already. There's no need to hurt yourself anymore. Opaline blinks furiously and finally looks around before shock and pain make her scream. I get off her, pick her up in my arms, then put her on the bed. She ripped out the IV and from where it was injected into her good arm was now a gash that bled a little. I pressed a Colbin on the bed and sat down, pulling my mate into my lap. She continued screaming and it was all I could do to not break down. The door opened and True NT and a young nurse came in, saw Opaline's arm and her pain-filled face, then got to work. At the door, Bree was standing with Kaelin, both looking a little worried and lost on how to help. But I didn't need them right now. I needed Opaline to not be in pain anymore. I needed her to come home with me. Hold her still. Truant, he said, and I tightened my grip as he poured alcohol on her arm, making her thrash and scream louder. Shush. It's all right. Baby, I say into her ear. The pain will end soon. He's just cleaning your wound. Then he'll stop the pain. Truant, he wrapped a bandage around her arm, then stuck a syringe into her neck. I glared at him, to which he responded. It's a sedative, to help her relax. After a few minutes, her screams died down and she went silent and limp in my arms. I laid her back down and wiped her tear-stained cheeks, then pulled the blanket up to her chin. Truant came over and took her vitals before telling the nurse to leave. Once she was gone, he said, I am going to bring a recliner in for you. It seems she isn't calm with anyone but you, so I'm allowing you to stay here with her for a while. I can't see another way of keeping her calm without knocking her out every time, and I can't do that. Alpha can tell you what happened. I only got here before she diced him up. I say hoarsely. Truant nodded, and a minute later, a chair was brought to one side of the bed where I would be able to be close and protect her. I'll talk to him then, he said, and walked away. I sat beside Opaline, stroking her hair and rubbing her cheek with my thumb, begging her to find peace and happiness. She looked like a child while sleeping, which I never noticed before. Her face was smooth and unmarred. Her hair, although messy from the bed, was long and beautiful. Her body was small in contrast to mine, her feet only reaching a few feet from the end of the bed. The hints that gave her away as a woman were her curves and her celeste eyes that have seen so much in this cruel world. Lykaon, may I come in? Bree asked from the door. I'd forgotten she was there. I nod, looking up at her. She came over and looked down at Opaline with wonder. She really is beautiful. Lykaon, perfect for a Luna. If only she'd stop ending up here. I whisper. Just give her some time. She'll be all right. Bree cupped my cheek. You'll see. She will survive and become your Luna. I nod. How is Darren? He's good. He's here, but let me have some time with you. He knows how close we were. And he's not jealous. I think he knows you found your mate but didn't tell me, which is why I was able to come alone to meet you. He's only come to the pack to keep me safe. Is Darren good to you? Bree laughs. You sound like my father. Lykaon. I smile and shrug. Yes, he's good to me. His pack is great. I'm well loved. I'm happy for you, I say and stand hug her. You'll get through this with Opaline. She's stronger than either of you knows. The way you brought her out of her weird state was like nothing I've ever seen. She immediately responded. She always has. I can tell she loves you. Bree whispered. And you love her. We pull away and I run my hand through my hair, sighing out a heavy breath. I do. She smiles and backs away. I need to go. I wish your mate well and your relationship the best. Darren is calling, so it must be time to go home. Goodbye, Lykaon. Goodbye, Bree. I say and watch her walk out the door before turning to my sleeping mate. I lean down and kiss her lips. Nose. And head? Then whisper. We'll be fine. You'll be fine. She didn't wake, but I think I saw her lips turn up a little. Opaline. I wake and was able to open my eyes without exhaustion pulling them closed again. My head felt less fuzzy, my body more relaxed than earlier. I was in a hospital room with many machines around and a bed table at the foot of my bed. On the wall in front of me was a large TV, a door that I assumed led to the bathroom, and cabinets. On my left was the door to the hallway, and on my right were windows that gave me a beautiful view of a city. My brows furrowed until I looked down and saw Lykaon sleeping in a recliner, his head on a fist propped up on the armrest. A smile grew on my face even though I felt pain when I tried to move. He stayed. My mate stayed with me even though his pack probably needs him more. I felt somewhat guilty, but so happy at the same time. I reached my arm out, but didn't even get close to him, which disappointed me a little. I didn't try to do anything else, and so laid back and watched him sleep peacefully beside me. A knock made me come alert, and I looked to see a nurse walking in with a clipboard. When she saw me awake, she smiled. How are you feeling? Opal. Better, but still sore. Sore is better than unbearable pain, so I'm glad to hear it. She washed her hands and came over to my left side. Would you like to try and eat something? I nod emphatically. Again, her smile was warm and gentle as she took my vials. I'm going to lift your gown to see your ribs. Is that okay? I glanced at Lykaon, really wanting him awake right now. Do you have to? I need to see if the stitches are healing like they should. It should only take a few seconds. Okay. I whisper and let her do it. She touched some spots and took some bandages off others to look. But it didn't take long. You seem to be healing a lot quicker than usual. But everything is looking like it should. Let me go get you some breakfast, then we can get you in the shower. I nod and she leaves, taking her clipboard with her. A moment later, Kale walks in. I smile wide at him. You're here. Hey, you right awake? He chuckles and walks to me, giving me a hug. How do you feel? Alive, I say breathlessly. It's still sore. Well, but Lykaon will be happy you're doing good. He glances at the Alpha, who is still sound asleep. It's good he's sleeping now. He hasn't slept in a while. Behind him, the nurse appeared with a tray of food. Here you go. Opaline, pulling the table over. She sat me up and opened the lid, presenting pancakes and bacon. If there is anything else you need, press the call button and someone will come down here. I nod and begin eating. She leaves and Kale sits by my feet, his arms crossed. How does it feel to be able to hear again? This question makes me pause. I don't know. I remember realizing I could hear the last time I woke up and being terrified that I was hallucinating. Now it's second nature, I guess. That was Spidey, my fated mate. Lights splashed around me and the world spun with the beat of the heavy techno music the DJ was playing. Loud sounds are going to be more annoying than usual. I got used to being deaf. Does that mean you're disappointed? No. I'm glad I don't have to read lips and have to constantly look at someone's lips while trying to understand what they want to say. I just think this is going to be an adjustment. Not a big one, but still an adjustment. He nods. Kalen thinks for a while and I finish my food and drink some water. When I'm done, I look at Lykaon. What all happened when I was here? Nothing much. Kale responds. Lykaon was pretty much by your side the whole time except to deal with a few minor problems and an old friend visiting. I was either here or outside making sure you two were safe. What about the pack? The pack can get a hold of me or Lykaon through the link. They don't need us unless it is an emergency, which there hasn't been. So it's pretty much been worrying about you this whole time. I shift, looking down at my bandaged hand. I'm sorry for trying to kill you. I didn't think you'd remember. He whispers. Why wouldn't I remember what happened? I hiss. I'm not like that. I'm not a killer like that. Opaline, I forgive you. Everything is fine. I nod but am not convinced. I don't hold grudges. You know. Smiling, I nod at him. Kale smiles back and stands up. I just came by to check on you. I'll be back later to talk to Lykaon if he's awake. Get some more rest and don't try anything stupid. I smile and watch him leave, then push the table away and lie back down, turning on my side to look at Lykaon before I fall asleep. She's doing well. Lykaon. The nurse said she was awake an hour ago, looking good and eating breakfast. She took a look at her stitches and they seemed to be doing better than expected. A male said that I didn't recognize. She was awake. Yes, Kale even came by and they talked. When I passed him in the halls, he said she was happy. So, she'll be okay. I opened my eyes and saw Lykaon on the chair, sitting forward talking to who I now recognize as True NT. I believe so. I will release her tomorrow morning if she continues to feel good. Lykaon smiles, then brushes his hair back with his fingers. You don't know how good it is to hear. True NT. Seriously, I thought the worst for a while now. I know you have. And I'm telling you now that Opaline will be just fine with some rest and care. No strenuous tasks until further notice. Lykaon was about to say something until Truenti added. That includes shifting. Until her hand is back to the way it was and her other bones have healed completely. There shall be no shifting into her wolf. My mate frowns, but nods. I understand. Good. Now excuse me. I have a few other patients to see to. Lykaon walked him out of the room, shutting the door. I closed my eyes again, feeling tired. I wake to darkness and something squeezing my arm tightly. I look around and find a nurse with a small lamp, writing something down on a clipboard, then checks something on a monitor. What is going on? I ask drowsily. Just checking on you. The squeezing loosens and she writes more notes, then unwraps my arm from the blood pressure cuff. Do you have anything to drink? The nurse smiles. Your mate went to get something. He should be back soon. I look over to the chair to find it empty. My heart skips a beat in a panic. But then the door opens and he walks in, holding 2 drinks. When his eyes land on me, he almost drops the cups in relief. I smile big for him, holding my arms out. Lykaon sets the drinks on the table and sits down beside me, pulling me up and against his chest. Oh, Opaline, he whispers into my hair. It's so good to see you smile again. I hear the door shut, alerting me to the nurse's departure. But don't pull away from my mate. He felt so warm and inviting, strong and safe, and all mine. Lykaon, I want to go home. I whisper. We will in the morning. We'll go home in the morning. Baby. He kisses me and pulls back to look at me. You look so much better. I'm so happy you're awake. I meant to talk to you earlier, but fell asleep after True and he left. That's fine. He whispers, kissing my head. You're awake now and that's all I can ask for. I just wanted you to be better. Opaline. Tears roll down my cheeks as I look at him in the dim light. His gray eyes are brighter than ever, and his hair is messy, as well as his clothes. His stubble has grown some, but he still looks good. Will you sleep with me? Lykaon glances to the door before answering. I'm not allowed. Opo, I could hurt you. I'll feel better if you do. That's Spidey, my faded mate. White splashed around me and I was stunned with the heavy techno music the DJ was playing. I'll feel safer. Pushing back my hair, he smiles a little. I don't think I'll be able to fit like this. Baby. As a wolf. Then, sure. He whispers and goes into the bathroom to shift, then comes out and jumps up onto my bed by my feet. Can you come up here? I ask softly. His ears prick up and his amber eyes look up and down my body before crawling up to lay beside me, licking my face once before resting his paws under his head. I brush my fingers in his fur down his neck and back, before laying my hand across his back like I would a large teddy bear. Sleep, my alpha. Lykaon. I stayed in wolf form until Opaline woke up the next morning and the nurse basically shooed me away. My mate begged for me to stay, but the nurse wouldn't have it, so I shifted in the bathroom, got dressed, and came back out. I almost laughed at the glare Opal gave the interfering nurse when I sat beside her on the opposite side of the bed. My mate smiled at me, softening her face and had me pull her into my lap, keeping her arms tightly around my neck. Kaylin came in with a large box in hand, setting it on the bedside table and pulling out clothes, shoes, and toiletries for Opaline, who blushed when she saw the underthings he had picked out. I glared at Kaylin, who only chuckled and threw everything in the box again and put it in the bathroom. I held Opal for a while longer until Truanty came in. He didn't take long at all. He looked at the stitches on her ribs and collarbone, then told her the same as he told me, before saying she was free to go. Barely contained excitement shone in her eyes as I helped her to the bathroom to wash up. This time, she let me help her and didn't hide herself once or blush. We didn't shower together, but I did help her into the bath where I sat on the toilet and helped her when asked. Opaline then let the drain out and waited for me to grab an owl before carefully standing up and holding her arms up. Once she was dried and dressed, I carried her back to the bed and let her eat before we left. Darian came up and told us the car was ready and that Kaylin was there as well, then said he was heading back to the pack. Opaline finished half her plate, brushed her teeth, and smiled softly. I took her hand and led her down the hallways and outside where a cobalt blue car was waiting, Kaylin in the driver's seat. I helped Opal in the back seat with her seatbelt, then went around the other side and got in beside her. Want to go anywhere before home? He asked us. Opaline shook her head, resting it on the headrest behind her. I said. Just take us home. She's exhausted. My mate fell asleep on the way and didn't wake up when we arrived, so I carried her up to my room and laid her down, kissing her head. I covered her up and walked over to the windows to shut the curtains when I saw Aryn walking up to my house. My wolf growled, angry he was here when our mate was vulnerable. Sighing, I went down and met him at the door. Lykaon, we have a matter to discuss. And what would that be? Your mate, he said in a dangerous tone. His eyes narrowed and he took in a deep breath, eyes going amber from his wolf. She's here. Of course. She's here. She lives here. But you aren't going to see her. Aryn stepped towards me, only putting us at a few inches apart. You can't stop me. I want to see what wolf she has and if she's my mate's killer. She isn't your mate's killer. I snarled. How do you know? Because she doesn't have the strength to kill a woman who is innocent. I leaned forward, making him back away a half step. My mate would rather protect Mabel if she saw her hurt than kill her. Or she's just playing you to get you to trust her, while she does horrible things behind your back. Aryn, Kale-in said from behind the Alpha. What are you doing here? He asked cheerfully. I sighed inwardly, making a note to thank him later. Aryn turned and put on a smooth fade. Beta Kale-in. I was just checking in on your Alpha. I wanted to make sure he is doing well while being new at this job. Kale-in walked up beside me and wrapped an arm around my shoulders. He's a great Alpha. Seriously. The pack loves him and their Luna. Do they know? He says more to himself than to us, nodding his head slowly. I see. Well, I should be going. I have a meeting soon and wouldn't want to miss that. I give him a closed lip smile. Good luck. Aryn walks away and Kale-in follows me back into the house and up to my office. What was that about? Opaline. I sit down at my desk and take a deep breath before I start throwing shit around and breaking them. I'm not sure if making her Luna is going to be the best idea. Lykaon, she needs to become Luna if she's properly going to do her duty as their leader. You can't take that right away from her. Aryn will kill her. I hiss. Only if he has an open opportunity. Kale-in said evenly. I can't take that risk. He won't have an opportunity because I'll stay with her. Max Brady, my fated mate. White scratched around me and my room spun with the beat of the heavy techno music the DJ was playing. I pause, waiting to hear him out. I will keep guard over her if she leaves the ceremony or from your side. I won't let anyone hurt her. You can't fight him and win. I say. No, but I can distract him long enough so she can get back to you for help, and get killed in the process. He shrugs. At least I did my deed by protecting my Luna. Lykaon. What is it? Where are you? My office with Kale-in. I look at my friend. Fine. I'll let you, but only because I trust you more than anyone else in the pack. He nods and a soft knock on the door made us look over, seeing my mate walk in and look at me. Her eyes fill with relief and she walks swiftly over to embrace me. Kale-in raises his brows, but I barely shake my head, not knowing what was wrong. I'll see you two around. Kale-in, I say, and he pauses by the door to look at me. 3 days. He nods and leaves the room. I pull Opaline into my lap and rub her back. What is wrong? Nightmare. She whispers into my neck. I see. And what was it about? I'm not sure. She says. I don't remember. Just that I was scared when I didn't see you. I nod and make her sit up, wiping her cheeks clean of tear stains, then pushing her hair back. Opaline, I'm going to make you Luna in 3 days. Are you ready? Her celeste eyes widen and brighten as her mouth turns into a smile. Yes, she gasps. I'm very ready. I smile and rest my hands on her hips. Do you know what that means? I will finally be accepted into the pack. She asks softly. I nod and rub my thumbs across her skin. It also means a few of our neighboring packs will be joining us for your ceremony to celebrate. With Luna ceremonies, everyone wants to see who the strong woman is that will be beside the Alpha side. So a few packs are going to join us. We will have a larger audience than when we were on our run. She thinks about this for a moment, her body showing nothing of how she feels. Finally, She said, I don't mind, as long as I stay close to you. This makes me smile wider. I'll make sure you're close. I kiss her softly before pulling back and watching her for a moment while she plays with my shirt. Opaline, there is one alpha that will try to hurt you, if not more. He will stop at nothing to get you alone and do what he pleases. Who and why? I hesitate for a minute before telling her. Do you know Aryn from the Vengeful Star Pack? She shakes her head. He is the pack that separates us from your parents' pack. That was why I was so careful with you when we were coming here. Why does he want me? For who he thinks you are because of your wolf type. She furrows her brows in confusion. Who does he think I am? I sigh. He will think you killed his mate because he swears his beta saw a Himalayan wolf kill her, or is the cause for her death. How would he know I killed her just by seeing my wolf? I don't know. Baby. I reposition myself and cup her face. Let me ask you a question. Do you remember what girl those rogues were trying to attack? What did she look like, or what her wolf looked like? I didn't see her wolf. She said honestly, I only saw her human form crumpled on the ground before trying to finish saving her life. Next thing I know is I'm in a hospital. But she found me when I got home and asked for shelter. So I did. What does the girl look like? Opal shrugs. Golden hair and I think blue eyes. But they might be green. I really don't know. It's dark when I used to meet her in the cellars. And you said you heard her in pain and ran to help. She nods, frowning. Would you let me meet her? Her eyes widen with horror. No, I'm taken aback. But ask, why not? My mate looks around and tries to get free of my hold. I can't. I tighten my hold on her and say softly, Hey, calm down. She looks down at me with tears in her eyes. I narrow my eyes slightly but keep my curiosity hidden. It was just a question. Opal, I just wanted to meet the girl who you risked your life for. I can't. She whimpers. Okay, I say, and she relaxes. I won't ask again. Opal nods and breathes in deeply. She made me promise not to let anyone see her, not even my parents. She didn't want to be recognized and sent back to wherever she was before. Did she tell you where that was? No, I sigh. Then try a new tactic. Your family is worried about you. Would you like to go see them? Her head tilts to the side a little but nods. When? I shrug. We can go tomorrow and come back the next day. Or go tomorrow and leave the next night to be back in time for the ceremony. Okay, I want to go see them. Especially Jacques. Her smile appears and she visibly brightens. He should be alpha soon since he's coming of age in a couple weeks. I want to wish him good luck. I smile and lift her up as I stand. We can do that. Let me send a letter to your father with the request. And I'll let you know. Opaline suddenly stiffens. I look down to see her nearly in tears. I won't be able to shift. That's Spidey, my fated mate. Lights flashed around me and my room spun with the beat of the heavy techno music the DJ was playing. You can ride on my back. I'm large enough to support you and you're small enough that you won't weigh me down. But my wolf wants out. She whispers. Both you and your wolf need to heal before shifting. I say sternly. Your wolf needs to wait for a couple of weeks. She nods and wraps her arms around my neck again as I go towards the kitchen. Who visited you at the hospital? What do you mean? Kale and said someone visited you. An old friend or something. I roll my eyes and set her on the counter. Her name is Bree. We were friends as pups. Now she is Luna of Black Rock with her mate. Darren. Opal's eyes light up once again. Luna Bree. I nod. Do you know her? She visited right before my accident 3 years ago. I know her, but she doesn't know me. She was doing Luna business with Alpha Aryn. My mate sighs. She's beautiful. I always watched her and wished she noticed me like she did other girls. Surprised by this, I ask, were you hiding? Opaline shrugs. Mostly, because I was stalking her. At this I laugh. Why didn't you just go up to her? Even before going deaf. I kept to myself mostly. Jacques always had a group of friends wherever he went. But I didn't. I did 1 or 2. But mostly I had my sketchbook. Did you draw, Bree? She shakes her head. I wasn't that creepy. Lykaon. I hold my hands up in surrender. Then kiss her. She says, I didn't know she was part of your pack at one time. Bree and I grew up together, then she found her mate and left. I haven't seen her since until the other day in the hospital. I pause, looking into my mate's eyes and saying, she saw you. After you nearly tried to kill Kaylin. She saw you sleeping and told me you were going to be a perfect Luna. She did. I nod. Maybe I can invite her over sometime so you two can hang out. I think you would be perfect friends. Opaline shook her head in horror. No'd Auntie do that. Why not? I don't want to actually befriend her and Opaline, you're talking nonsense. You just said you wish she'd notice you. Yeah, but I didn't say I wish she would be my friend. I chuckle and roll my eyes. I'm writing to her later to ask her to come. That's by hated Nate. What's flashed around me and my wind's spun with the beat of the heavy techno music the DJ was playing. You heard me, I say as I go to the fridge to find some food. I hear her get off the counter and huff. You can't. I put a bowl on the counter and look over my shoulder at her. I can, baby. And I will. Sticking her tongue out. Opaline grabs plates and silverware. She changes the subject. Where is Nadine?